Welcome to the Princess Mononoke inspired island of Yakushima. And welcome to the stage in my life where I need coffee to function, which I haven't had this morning, and I'm currently dying. Isn't that right, Jeff? Because Jeff promised that we would have time to get coffee this morning, and we didn't go get it, did we?
I played the fifth.
We have an even smaller rental car than the last video series that you saw where we had, I don't even know, it looked like a go-kart. This one's even smaller. It's so cute and I want one.
So this is a 600cc vehicle, which is basically like 4 motorcycles strapped together. And when I was renting this, they said as long as it's 2 adults basically and 2 pieces of luggage, you should be fine because they're known for not being extremely powerful, but they're extremely fuel efficient and they're small, which is important for these tiny mountain roads. If you can't tell by the view behind me, we're already at our first stop in Yakushima, which is the Yakuzugi Land walk that we're going to do right now. So Yakushima for me has been on my bucket list for as long as I can remember, ever since I got into Studio Ghibli, which is when I was very young, and I fell in love with the film Princess Mononoke. If you haven't watched it and you're not too afraid of Japanese animation, go check it out because Hayao Miyazaki is a fantastic animator and creator and a bit of a perfectionist, and it really shines through in his work. To provide some context about why this is related to Princess Mononoke, this is supposedly the inspiration for Hayao Miyazaki's setting of the film, and already just being in this forest, you can definitely see why.
So driving up the mountain to our first hiking spot in our little go-kart, it is, I don't want to say a 1-lane road, but it's just about a 1-lane road, and the forest is so overgrown into the street that it looks like it's Jurassic Park. And also there are monkeys everywhere. I mean, we've already seen like an entire troop driving up, and it's just such a surreal looking little place.
That actually brings up a good point, because one of the things that the rental lady told me when we got the car is that there's one road that you should only really drive one way, and that's going south. And that's because the other way is basically just a sheer drop off. There's no guardrail, and they actually have to close the road at 5 p.m. due to the sheer amount of monkey and deer that inhabit the road after hours.
So if you've watched any of our travel vlogs before, you see that we don't exactly visit places outside of busy tourist season. So when I say that we are alone right now and it's very exciting, I mean it. There's no one here. It's just Jeff and I.
One of the reasons that actually feels so good is because, in my opinion, one of the reasons you come to places like this, you get out into nature, is to feel alone and just hear that nothingness, and it's beautiful.
But it costs about 1,000 yen though.
Yeah, but cost about not many people spend that money. In Princess Mononoke, one of the big themes is that humans are coming in, and to mine iron ore, they basically have to destroy the forest. And I couldn't really see if there was a connection besides the environment to that, but apparently we were just reading on the sign back there is that back in the day, the people revered this forest, and the trees were the god trees. They were very holy and sacred, so they never came in here and cut them down. Until Confucius, way back when, was basically like, hey, you have all these dormant resources, they're not holy, you can go in and cut them down, it's no big deal. He then proposes to the feudal clan at the time, the Shimazu, and they backed it, and then they started cutting down these trees all over the place. So it's just kind of goes hand in hand with the movie of where they were cutting down the forest for their own benefit. So maybe there are more connections with just the environment when you come here.
So Jeff and I have been exploring now for probably about an hour, and so far we haven't seen any other people here, which is truly unheard of for something so beautiful.
I totally put the camera on the wrong car. That was a fantastic walk, and we're off to the next stop probably to check in. I gotta remove this though before someone gets mad at me.
Ours has a flatter hood, Jeff.
Yeah. This is why I don't film. Check-in time.
Finally, we made it to our hotel room after a very long day, and we have a pretty great view. Check it out. Look at this. Hello and welcome to day 2 Yakushima from our tiny little hustler, which I've asked Jeff to buy me when we're back in the States, and he said no.
So yesterday we were talking about how the place that we were at, the forest, was an inspiration for Hayao Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke. But the hike we're doing today was the actual main inspiration, and the lead artist actually came here and visited a couple of times with Hayao Miyazaki to figure out all the different shades of greens that they wanted to use in the film because it was that important to them. We made it, we're about to start the trail, but first we're using the restroom. Now behind me is the parking lot, and you can see it already is pretty full, and I actually don't know where this car behind me is gonna park, but the guy who is assisting with parking is waving them back. So I assume there's more parking than what we see, because as far as I know, we got the last space. Now we're here at about 11 a.m., which is pretty late, admittedly. There are tour buses already here. I hear, though, the farther you walk, the less tourists there are, because they don't have as much time here as people who have rental cars, because if you want to catch the ferry back to Kagoshima, then you have to leave here at 4 p.m. at the latest.
It's as if the forest floor has come like crumbling down into its final resting place, and then the waterfalls just like move around it. And I'm sure that you can hear what we're hearing right now, which is little to nothing. And did you know that you can come to Japan and schedule a therapy session to go into the middle of the woods and have a therapist talk to you while you listen to nature? Remember that.
We've been hiking now for about 2 to 3 hours, and we're almost done. We're back at the parking lot, and this has been probably the best hike I've ever done in my entire life. If incredible, vibrant greens call out to you, being surrounded by nature, the sound of running water, cool mountain mist, this is the place that you have to go. It is absolutely the best hike I've ever done in my life, and if you're in Japan and you have extra time, come to Yakushima. I cannot recommend it enough. Obviously, we're back in the car. We're about to head out and drive around the big road around the island, which is supposed to take around 3 hours, and you're supposed to see tons of monkey and deer, especially on the west coast, which is supposed to be beautiful. Before that, though, we need to get some fuel back in us because we definitely burned a lot of calories on that hike. Now, I know I didn't say the name of the hike, and that's because I was afraid of butchering it earlier and I didn't have it in front of me, so it is, reading this, Shiratani Unsuikyo, or the Yakushima Island Natural and Recreational Forest, Shiratani area. So if you're here, that's the hike you want to do. You get a cool little postcard with your entrance fee, and it costs 500 yen per adult. Now, in terms of what we're going to eat, our hotel, Green Hotel Yakushima, hooked us up with these cool little bento boxes. So it's like fried chicken, some hot dog, a little onigiri, and an onsen egg. And some tempura, it looks like, which looks and sounds delicious. But don't take my word for it.
Yes, I pretty much ate all of it already. I'm sorry.
Is it good?
It's delicious,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
We have made it to the most dangerous road on the island. Jeff made me switch seats, so I'm not driving anymore today.
It's closed 5 to 7. All right.
See how it goes. Okay, so Jeff and I came around a curve and we have found probably a couple hundred monkeys and I think some deer. Look at these. We survived the crazy mountain road. I can definitely understand why they close it every single day. I just want to know what it took to do that. Like, how many accidents were there? How many animals died that they had to do that? But if you can imagine driving that road at night, it's pitch black, there are animals in the road. Yeah, probably a little bit scary.
We are at Ambo Port right now, which is the port that we're leaving from to head back to Kagoshima. Our 2 days here are at an end, but they have been absolutely incredible. I think I said this last time, but this has been one of the best hiking places that I've ever been to. It is absolutely stunning, and if you're a Miyazaki fan or you just like nature or you just want to see something new, come here. It's definitely worth it. Now, Tokyo time.